Looking back over this past year, since the 44-day war between Azerbaijan and Armenia, I think it's safe to say that with the war's ending, geopolitical tensions in the region have decreased significantly. Obviously, before the war, tensions were extremely high, and beginning in the spring of 2019, it was the then defense minister of Armenia who said, "We no longer accept the essentially the Minsk Group formula of land for peace. In other words, Armenia will return Azerbaijan's lands to Azerbaijan, and Azerbaijan will guarantee peace with Armenia." He said, "No, the new formula is new wars for new territories." And this was something that Prime Minister Pashinyan also then echoed in, I guess it was August of 2019. So it was clear the Armenian side was seeking to increase tensions and maybe even wanted there to be a war. And obviously, the Armenian side miscalculated tremendously, thinking that somehow it could win, probably being unaware of the innovative tactics and technologies that Azerbaijan integrated into its military in partnership with Turkey and with help from Israel. So before the war, the geopolitical tensions were very high. And you'll remember in July of 2020, when there were those military clashes along the Azerbaijan and Armenian border, two of the Minsk Group co-chairs did nothing, France and the United States. Russia was very active, didn't get its troops involved in the conflict, but did in fact conduct military drills with Armenia, snap drills, right after the conflict. And then Turkey did the same with Azerbaijan. So at that point, a lot of my friends in the journalistic world, in Washington, and in the think tank world, they were convinced that there was a chance of a regional war involving Russia and Turkey and Azerbaijan and Armenia, and maybe even bringing in Iran. There's no such chance of that right now. There's not going to be any future war between Azerbaijan and Armenia because Armenia can't conduct a war, and Azerbaijan doesn't want one. And Russia doesn't want there to be a war in the region. And Turkey doesn't want there to be. So there's no chance of war restarting. Yes, there's tension still along the Azerbaijan-Armenia international border, and that border needs to be defined and demarcated so that those sorts of tensions will reduce. But if you sit back and look at, in a more geopolitical way, the tensions are much reduced. Beyond that, Azerbaijan has an incentive now to stabilize the region using the so-called Zangezur corridor to attract foreign investment to the benefit of Armenia as well. That's a totally different situation than ever before, where Armenia was excluded by big projects like the Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan oil pipeline, the South Caucasus gas pipeline, or the Baku-Tbilisi-Kars railway. Now Azerbaijan wants Armenia to be part of projects like that. And while it's politically infeasible for Armenia now to accept this great opportunity, I think eventually Armenia will. Armenia will see it's in its interests to basically fulfill the final point 9 of the November 10 ceasefire statement from last year, which says all transport links throughout the region are reopened. That's a huge opportunity for Armenia to reintegrate into the regional economy and beyond, and generate economic growth and prosperity and jobs. And I think the mood is improving in Armenia politically, judging by the fact that Nikol Pashinyan his party was reelected in June, even though there were so many of his opponents, especially the so-called Karabakh clan, that were repudiating that November 10 statement and saying it should be torn up. Instead, the situation, and I actually have to be honest, I thought Nikol Pashinyan was unlikely to survive long politically, and I think I said that before to you. Now, it's an amazing situation where President Putin, because he signed that November 10th ceasefire statement, along with Nikol Pashinyan and President Ilham Aliyev, Putin needs Pashinyan to remain in power so that the leadership of Armenia won't be by someone who wants to tear up that agreement that President Putin stakes so much prestige on to negotiate. And then finally, another reason why I think there's a greater geopolitical stability now in the region is that Azerbaijan and Turkey have been developing new trilateral working groups and relationships with Georgia, of course, Turkey, or Azerbaijan, Turkey, Georgia, with Turkmenistan, with Pakistan, and as we see, imminently there will be military drills among Azerbaijan, Turkey, and Pakistan on Azerbaijani territory. And my understanding is that Azerbaijan and Turkey may form similar or analogous working groups with both Israel and then also separately with Ukraine. And so Azerbaijan is in a situation where it can work with all these different coalitions in partnership with Turkey and hopefully attract investment and strengthen regional stability and economic growth. So I think the entire region is much better off now than it was ever before. And Iran, Iran might be feeling uncomfortable a bit, but on the other hand, Iran has a chance to participate in a positive way in the investment promotion grouping among, again, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Russia, and Turkey. And I think probably in Iran, the leadership feels the situation is more stable, and I think that's probably why in recent days we've seen President Raisi, the new president of Iran, indicate that Iran will return to the nuclear negotiations with the United States under the Biden administration. If Iran felt heightened geopolitical tensions because of the second Nagorno-Karabakh War, it wouldn't, I think, be able to take that bold step. Maybe the last point is, too, we've seen geopolitical tensions reduce between Azerbaijan and Turkmenistan. I mentioned the new Azerbaijan-Turkey-Turkmenistan working group, and we saw in January, in the wake of the war, the 44-day war, that finally, after decades, Azerbaijan and Turkmenistan finally agreed on how to share in the production of what is now called the Dostluk oil field in the middle of the Caspian Sea. And I think that opens up all sorts of new stabilizing possibilities of cross-Caspian economic cooperation. Hopefully that will one day include a trans-Caspian natural gas pipeline. Thank you.